Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Block Bull returning with a new episode for the channel. Now, I have been AWOL for the past couple of weeks. However, I am back. I have been very busy in my personal life. So apologies first and foremost. However, without further ado, let's catch up on some of the news and some of the plays playing out for XDC, in particular with the fundamental analysis. Obviously, we've got the TA in front of us today. We will come back to this shortly. But first and foremost, obviously, talk of the town at the moment is with Mohammed bin Salman has chosen not to renew a security agreement with the US set to expire on the 9th of June 2024. Now, that was yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. So, after 50 years, the UAE and the rest of the Middle East here, Saudi Arabia, can now sell oil and other goods in currencies like the RMB, euros, yen, yuan and more. So that includes crypto. So this is absolutely mega bullish news, in my opinion, for crypto, because the petrodollar is no more, which is obviously going to be bearish news for the US dollar. So is this the end of fiat money as we know it today, ladies and gentlemen? Let's dive into it. So this week here, so we've had June the 10th, so this was last updated today, in fact. So Saudi Arabia joins Enbridge initiative for cross-border CBDC payments. Now, if that is not a coincidence, I don't know what is. So they've gone from tying the dollar and selling their oil, their commodities in dollars, and now they're opening up and joining this Enbridge initiative for cross-border payments. So look at this, Enbridge platform to initiate MVP stage. So that means we can pretty much roll out into production. So this is like the initial phase to start using real transactions to actually settle the expectation of oil and other commodities within the UAE. So this is so bullish, honest to God, this is so bullish. So whoever's actually running the show behind this particular initiative with the Enbridge is obviously going to, reap the benefits. So let's dive into this. So Enbridge platform to initiate, we've looked at that. So according to BIS announcement, the Enbridge project has now achieved the minimum viable product. This milestone invites private sector firms to propose new solutions and applications to further develop the platform and demonstrate its full potential. Wow, this is exciting. So it looks as if all the demos, all the testing, all the trials and tribulations, they've all been resolved. And obviously, we got to this final product now where this particular initiative can now start unleashing the full potential of crypto, blockchain, and obviously the CBDC payments, that being retail and also wholesale as well. Now, a quick tweet here from Atul Kakade, one of the main guys at XDC and also formerly Zinfin Network. So this is a tweet from the previous month. This is the 31st of May. XDC can now officially be used to settle transactions on the R3 corridor. Institutional pilots incoming. Mega bullish. So XD3 on R3 corridor, that has been public knowledge for a number of years now. But the fact that we can now begin actually using XDC rather than using these sort of demo programs, which they've been experimenting with the networks, etc. We are no longer in the experimental phase. We can now go into the phase one of actual real-time settlement transactions on the R3 corridor using the XDC token. So this is an actual PDF here by the BIS Innovation Hub. So this was obviously published back in October 22. Project Enbridge connecting economies through CBDC. For those that don't know, Enbridge is the biggest initiative when it comes to wholesale CBDCs. So I know obviously Ripple was actually targeting CBDCs because obviously they wanted to do cross-border payments. However, it looks to me as if XDC has the gig. Now, I'm reading between the lines because it appears it's actually R3 corridor. So here, nearly 23.5 trillion in cross-border transactions flows. Transaction charges amounted to around 0.5% or approximately 120 billion excluding FX costs. So this is just a rough estimate here of the private sector and the valuation of that particular market. So, an article that I've written. Anyway, this better explains it anyway. So, United Arab Emirates central bank partners with R3 for retail and wholesale. This is the operative word, wholesale, because obviously this is where the main sort of liquidity comes in when we need to pump coins and actually begin to use these coins as utility when it comes to fulfilling these particular roles. So when was this published? This was March last year. So there you go. They've got 3 pillars. Its first phase strategy have already been announced with a plan to complete within 12 to 15 months. So this is where we're at now. So we've pretty much completed that. First is Project Enbridge, a wholesale cross-border CBDC solution with the BIS of China. Bilateral cross-border CBDC project with India. SDX and R3 were also involved in cross-border wholesale CBDC projects. So R3 are all over this at the moment. They're practically, running the show when it comes to this initiative. This was published recently, March this year. Central bank introduces wholesale retail digital dirham strategy. Again, we're seeing R3. R3 will provide the infrastructure for the digital dirham, and G42 Cloud will provide the technology. So it looks, again, the agreements with R3 and an Abu Dhabi base G42 were announced in March last year. So to me, R3 are all over this. R3 Corda, again, R3 Corda is permission network for financial services and other industries. Notably, R3 Corda has integrated the XDC network. So everyone's suggesting that XRP will be settling the cross-border remittance payments are wrong, because it's quite clear that R3 Corda is being utilised by Saudi Arabia and the UAE specifically. And to my knowledge, R3 Corda are only using XDC into this capacity. So let's dive into the charts as well, just to take a quick look at see where we're at in terms of price action. Obviously, you got that 2021 bull market there with the top there in August 21, and again. This is why I've not been covering much of the charts recently, because it's literally been... This is obviously the weekly chart, guys. So we've been playing out sideways here for me from the middle of April. So we've literally just been playing out, but that's to be expected when you look at the TA analysis here. It's playing out and respecting this wedge. So this wedge, this is on the linear chart. I prefer the log charts, but I'll flick over to the log charts in a moment. And I've just marked out this vertical line here, which kind of signals the convergence of the blue and the red trend line, where they both intersect one another. Obviously, it's coming out on Monday, the 8th of July. Obviously, with it being a weekly chart as well, it jumps a week. But I feel like we can go a couple of days into that week commencing 8th of July. Now, I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and I like to try and marry things up. Now, I know the sentencing for Donald Trump is on the 11th of July. Now, it's just absolute hogwash with what's going on. Obviously, it's an election year. I think elections are in November at the end of the year. So whatever happens in that sentences, I just feel like that is going to be a massive distraction there. So whether or not these utility coins that are going to run the scene, XDC, XRP, XLM, obviously you've got these other utility coins like Quant are heavily tied to R3 Corda as well, just for that interoperability. Like I said, HBAR as well, going to be absolutely massive explosions when it comes to the ISO coins. So whether or not we can get a breakout here mid-July is to be continued, so we'll just have to keep in touch with that. Now let's just go over to the log chart as well, just to see. Obviously these trend lines are being drawn on the linear, so I'm not going to alter these trend lines. As you can see, the interaction does come here, because we do get a bottom here, back test, obviously failed capitulation, so we're trading under that trend line. We come up and you see this red candle here where we get that solid rejection, bounce, breakout. Again, we're unable to hold support, green candle test, rejection, breakout, retest. So again, these linear charts and log charts are starting to marry up a little bit more evenly now. And it's same with the upside here as well. So you get this breakdown, you get this green candle, trying to get that close above the blue trend line, capitulation. You can see how it's interacting with the blue trend line. Bounce, fell. You can see this green one as well. I don't know if you can see it. I'll have to try and zoom in a bit. You got this green candle here. So obviously you try, bam. Yeah, you can see how it's playing out anyway. But listen, we're literally at the tip. So maybe a week, another week, maybe 2 weeks. Again, if I flick back over. So any week now, up until the middle of July, I do expect that breakout. But it is looking absolutely phenomenal, guys. I must admit. This is old sort of analysis here with this blue channel going up to the upside. You can see here upon inception, we've got this splitter here with the dash line. Then we've got this solid blue line here marking the weekly closes. See that weekly close there? And then ultimately the highest weekly close in the XDC. And same here, you can see where we've rolled over there. That's confirmed the bear market there. We get that massive red candle down, capitulation. Then obviously consolidation throughout 2022. Get that blow off, and then obviously you're breaking out, and then obviously you're grinding back down the wedge. But these are the price targets. Obviously, price is subjective, but I do expect XDC to get somewhere in this sort of channel here. And I also expect the bull market to come to an end in October 2025. So if we just take the cursor here, so somewhere around there, I expect XDC to get up to about $20, $25 minimum. We could go higher depending on how much utility is going to be used with the oil exploitation from the Enbridge. Not just the oil exploitation as well. Actually trading oil with XDC as opposed to the US dollar, but obviously we're using wholesale and retail transactions as well to settle any payments. So it's all looking absolutely mega bullish for XDC. Obviously XDC trading at just above 3.5 cents here. Absolute steal in my opinion. Now obviously if we can get up to about $20, let's just measure some of the gains to be had here. You can see that dash line there, so 3.5 cents. So even if it was to get up to about $10, obviously it's very very sensitive, so let's just say 28,000% return. If you got up to about $20, which would be a great target in my opinion, you're looking at about 58,000% returns, which is kind of similar to what XRP did back in 2017. So for me, that is not out of the question. So for example, if you just bought $1,000 worth of XDC, plus if you waited till September, October, when I believe the bull market will top out, add that 58,000%. So sorry, I did that wrong. I didn't press the yeah, I did, sorry. Right, let's just say 5,000. I don't know how much is the average savings in America or the UK. I think in the UK it's about $3,000. So I'll say you got about £3,000, $3,000, doesn't matter, plus 58,000%. You end up with 1.74 million plus your initial 1.743. So that's just off a $3,000, £3,000 investment, and that's you just sitting on that investment from now up until October. So that would be about 16 months just holding $3,000. Like, listen, just invest. And it's not financial advice, but obviously if you've got free capital in your bank account, checking account, whatever you want to call it, just leave it in your wallet, leave it in your decent wallet, leave it on your ledger. I'm not sure if XEC is on the ledger, but For me, I use a decent wallet, and it's definitely on there. Make sure you put it in cold storage. Just tuck it away now for 16 months. Come back in 16 months. If we're at $20, you've pretty much made it. Do you know what I mean? You're set, and then obviously you can rotate and, you know, continue trading later on following the channel. But that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you're not already, make sure you're subbed. Make sure you like the content as well. If you're not already following me on Twitter, please do so as well. I'll just go over to my handle here. I'm at the Block Bull, so yeah, make sure you're following over there. Anyway, guys, lovely to get back into action again, videoing for you guys. I've been the Block Bull, over and out.